Well, Tony, you're lining up with Antino in Melbourne again this weekend. How is he coming along?
Yeah, really good. He's at the peak of his powers now. We saw him fourth up here in the winter at his absolute best here in the Wayne Wilson. He's fourth up this weekend now. Off a busy enough prep since he's been there. But he's absolutely spot on. I couldn't be more pleased with him, watch his work at the Valley on Tuesday, and just the way the horse is overall presenting, his muscle tone, his coat condition, he's right at the peak of his powers.
I mean, he's always had a marvellous temperament. Obviously, that's still the case.
Yeah, it is. He's got a great temperament. He's a lovely horse to train, Bern. He does everything you sort of want. It did take him a little while to settle in. It's his first trip away, and he's an older horse. He's 5. It's horses that have been getting travelled a bit more at a younger age. They're more used to the travel by the time they get to that age, where he hasn't been used to that as much. So just his first couple of weeks down there, I just wasn't as happy with his coat and the way he was eating and doing. And then as he started to get into his prep, which is what we see here, once he gets racing into his preparations, he starts to really improve. I was always going to be in the Toorak third up, and I still think had we had drawn a gate, we come very, very close to winning the race, being beaten that far from the outside. So fourth up, I feel he's better into his prep than where he was third up, and that improvement, to my eye, and what I'm seeing in him this week is there to be seen.
We know small fields can be such tactical events. Would you prefer a bigger field or a smaller field?
I prefer barrier 4 and probably a bigger field than 10 or 12 horse field, but I'm 4 or 6. But look, I'm just be comfortable if he steps well. He stepped really well in the Toorak. I think that just tells you what sort of place he's in mentally and just how he's feeling. He actually stepped well and would have took up a position had we had drawn a better gate. So if he can do that again, because he has had that habit of just being a bit tardy and having to muster into stride, if he can just step well again for Blake, and Blake's a great tactician, and he knows a few of these other horses in the race. One in particular is Tuvalu, he knows the horse well. So look, I think tactically it'll be quite an interesting race. It hasn't got an out-and-out leader on paper, and it's interesting as to who's going to find what spot. But he's a world-class jockey, as you know, and I'm sure whatever move he makes, he knows this horse very well now. The more he gets on his back, the more he knows him. He's got a great belief in him, which we do as well as a stable. So I'm sure he'll tactically have him in the right spot.
You've had a huge belief of this horse right from the beginning.
Yeah, well, it's hard when they come off a 72 mile. I think it was his last run, the prep prior, and we thought he was a Stradbroke horse. So it's a big step, and we didn't get him into the Stradbroke, and his rating didn't allow him to be there, and that's you got to cop that. That's part of it. But we've always had a good opinion of him. He's done a few things I've seen in races that I've had very few horses that can do, and I think I'm still seeing that now. He's a long sustained run at Caulfield the other day on a day where it was near impossible to do that. Nearly got us the chocolates again. So he's a remarkable horse, and I don't feel I'm anywhere near the finish of him yet either.
Well, we hope you win this Saturday. Thanks for your time, Tone.
Thanks, Ben.